Who knows what next week will bring? It might be warm again and melt all the snow. You know, one thing is our sinuses and our allergies are going to start going off pretty wild with all these temperature changes. So we'll go ahead and start. Like you have been doing, is just bringing yourself into a place of quiet with your mat. Today we're going to balance and work on the Kapha dosha. This is your dosha that resides in your subconscious. It's your support system, so it's your lungs and digestion, and also your bone structure, your muscles. Ayurvedic yoga, as some of you are familiar, is yoga that's inspired by the seasons and how different postures apply to different times of year, and how they can support your movement and overall well-being. And so during the winter, our metabolism slows down, just related to temperature and cold seasons like this. And so we'll be doing some energizing postures to really energize our immune system, our nervous system, and our blood and digestion. So we'll be doing twists, we'll be doing energy building postures, and then we'll have a cool down and relaxing session towards the end where we kind of bring it all together. Okay. I like to start every class with a Gayatri mantra. It's a mantra that ties in the creative force of the universe and brings it into our individual being. And it we can join together by saying the word Om together and chanting that. And then I'll go into the Gayatri mantra. And then from there, we'll begin doing some pranayama breathing exercises. So with that being said, we can just bring ourselves to our breath here for a moment. We'll exhale fully. On an inhale, we'll chant Om at the end. Om. Bhuvasva Tatsavator Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dio Yona Prachodayat. Om. One of the 8 limbs of yoga is pratyahara. It's the first stage of inner meditation and contemplation. And so as we go through class today, we'll be focusing on pratyahara, or that ability of inner sensing. So I don't want to ignore the global tension we have, but I also don't get political in my yoga classes. But the biggest thing you can do with all the changing environment in the world, changing weather so rapidly up and down, is to be really aware of how you are and how you feel each day, and what you can do to keep yourself prepared for life is to just feel well in every moment. And so we're going to bring ourselves to focus on that inner sensing using pratyahara, and we'll practice breathing practices to get our body energized and our mind energized before we work on our postures. And with all the uncertainty in the world, the best thing you can do and the most certain thing you can do is to take care of yourself. And so it always starts with the individual. What we're going to do to start off is we'll do nadishodhana. It does have a hand mudra. You put your hand like this, usually your right hand, or you can do it somatically with your mind. And I'll show a couple cycles of it first, but nadishodhana balances the male and female tendencies in our bodies. And nadis are energy channels. There's over 170,000 energy channels throughout the body, including your nerves and blood. And it relates to all of your organs, including your vagus nerve. And so nadishodhana balances the masculine and feminine energies, but it also directly relates to your main vagus nerve. It's the only nerve that touches all of the organs. All of the others are somewhat separate. But the vagus nerve is kind of like a tuning cord for your whole body. And when the vagus nerve is doing well, it communicates to all your organs very well. And so I'll demonstrate nadishodhana. You exhale first completely, and then you block your right nostril right at the bridge of your nose. Then you inhale 3 to 4 seconds through your left. There's a gentle pause at the top where you block your left and open the right. And exhale 3 to 4 seconds out the right side. Gentle pause, then inhale. You block the right and open up the left after a pause, then you exhale. That's one full cycle. And so we'll go ahead. Exhale fully. When you're ready to begin, we'll inhale through the left. We'll block and open the right. Exhale. Gentle pause at the bottom of the exhale, and then inhale through the right. We'll block the right. And when you're ready, exhale through the left. I want you to find your own comfortable pace. At the bottom of your left exhale, we'll inhale through the left, and then block the left and open the right. Exhale through the right. Start to notice that balancing out of your lungs here as you inhale through the right again. We'll block the right and move to the left and exhale through the left. Do this 5 more times and find your own pace on your inhales and exhales. About 3 to 4 more times here. We're just doing nadishodhana. So you exhale through your left, inhale through your left. Block your left and exhale through your right. Inhale through your right. And we'll block your right and exhale through your left. And when you're comfortable, inhale through your left. And when you feel comfortable, we're going to finish on our left as an exhale on our left nostril. Just had our Zoom participant show up. So once you're finished your final cycle, just go ahead and let that sit for a second and notice the change in your body here. Nadishodhana is a really great starting point for any yoga practice. It's a great way to really tune in and start to pay attention to that inner sensing. which is the fifth limb of yoga, pratyahara. Pranayama is the third limb of yoga, and it comes before the postures because it's said that your breathing is really the true seat of your energy. So if you're really in tune with your breath and your breath is functioning well, all of the rest of your autonomic systems work much clearer and better. We're going to do one more, and it's kapalabathi, which is skull shining breath. It does take a little bit of explanation. So it's actually just a quick exhale through the nostril. It's kind of like blowing out a candle, just a real quick breath. You do it anywhere from 10 to 30 cycles in a row, and we'll do 2 to 3 rounds of it. I'll just demonstrate 5 or 6 times first, and then we can all do it together. And the biggest key to this one is finding your own pace with it, because it can be a little unorthodox in how you do it. So you exhale fully. You inhale about 2/3 your capacity. And then it's just quick. Short breaths out your nostrils. Your inhales are passive. They're going to just naturally happen. So the best thing to do is just focus an even, comfortable pace for you on those exhale breaths, those quick, short exhale breaths. Just knowing that your body's going to take over the inhaling part for you. So you don't have to focus on both the inhale and exhale. So we'll go ahead and we'll exhale fully and do each cycle as long as it's comfortable for you, and then just come back to normal breathing once you're done. So exhale and inhale 2/3 of the way, and then quick, short breaths. When you've gotten as far as is comfortable for you, just feel free to let it go. Come back to your normal restorative recovery breathing. No control over the breath. Let your breathing come back to normal rhythm for a moment. When you're ready, go ahead and exhale fully. We'll come to about 2/3 full, and then we'll begin again. Just release that and come back to your breath. Normal recovery breathing. Kapalabathi is Sanskrit for skull shining breath. It's a way of really engaging your cerebral nerves and your spinal column. When you do it with nadishodhana, you're getting lung balancing and energy balancing in your vagus nerve with nadishodhana, and you're getting your nervous system and your frontal lobe to really brighten up as you experience it. We'll go ahead and do one more together, and then we'll just come back to our breath for a moment before we start practice. So exhale fully. Inhale about 2/3 and begin. Notice a little bit of change or a drastic change in your energy here. Take 2 or 3 full breaths here, full exhales. Inhale should be a little shorter than your exhale. Exhales should be a little longer than your inhales. I just want you to start being mindful of Ujjayi breath. Ujjayi breath is the breath of ocean breath that you do during practice. If you're unfamiliar with Ujjayi breath, it's been described as like trying to fog a mirror with your mouth closed. So gently, there's a gentle pulling of your windpipe, like you would be whispering or you would be fogging a mirror. And you can start to hear the sound of the ocean between your earlobes. It's a deeper, fuller breath. And as I instruct the asana practices, I will be cueing inhales and exhales. And the Ujjayi breath is going to be the breath that I'm trying to cultivate with practice. And so we'll just practice it a little bit before we start practice here. So if you need to adjust your legs here, we'll go ahead and we'll come into our first beginning postures. We are going to stay seated for another posture, and then we'll move to child. But for starters, you can be in Sukhasana, which is easy posture here, or you can be cross-legged, as some of you are, or you can even come into Vajrasana, which is hero posture. You can either sit on your sits bones on your heels or with your ankles out to your sides here. Like I said, Sukhasana is certainly fine. So the first thing we're going to do here is we're going to inhale and we're going to bring our arms up overhead. And then we're going to exhale down to our right. And any amount you can twist over to your right. Try not to strain. Use your inner sensing to find what's comfortable for you here. And come over any amount to your right, making sure our sits bones, those 2 bony points at the end of our legs, are rooted into the ground here. Our crown rising out of our hips. We'll inhale and we'll come up overhead. And we'll exhale down over to our left. Any amount. If you can look back over your left shoulder here, go ahead. If you want to just keep your gaze even with your shoulders, that's fine as well. Then we'll inhale, we'll come up overhead again. It's more about just rising our head out of our tail here. We don't want to lunge forward, collapse. Just want to find our sits bones rising or rooting as our crown rises here. We'll exhale and we'll come down any amount that you can twist to your right here. Exhale. We'll inhale, we'll come back overhead. This time we'll take our thumbs and we'll place them right on the end of our collarbones here, and our fingers will just rest in the front of our shoulders. We'll exhale to the left. Any amount is comfortable. And then we'll inhale to the right. Exhale to the left. Inhale to the right. We'll exhale to the left. Inhale to the right. Exhale to the left. Go at your own pace now. Inhale to the right. On your last exhale to the left, we'll bring our arms down and then inhale up again towards the center, and we'll release our breathing down. Just come back to restorative breathing here. I'm going to just pivot, but find your way into child's pose here. Arms can be extended in front of you, or hands can be by your shoulders here. Child posture, you can be on top of your legs with your chest resting on your legs, or your legs can be spread apart a little with your feet on either side of your hips. Just stretch out your arms if it's comfortable for you up in front of you on your mat, and we'll tent our fingers. Imagine your breath coming through your navel as we do Ujjayi breath. We'll visualize our breathing coming through our navel on an inhale. And as we exhale, we'll come out through our third eye between our eyebrow here. We'll inhale through our navel. We'll exhale through our third eye. Inhale through our navel. Exhale through our third eye. On our next inhale, we're going to pull our hands back towards us at our knees, and we'll come to a seated posture. We'll inhale, bring our arms up overhead. We'll exhale down. We'll inhale and bring our hands back by our knees. As we rise up, we'll inhale and exhale down. And keep going in this rhythm. We'll inhale and bring our arms back and up and overhead. Exhale down here. We'll inhale, pull our hands back, out and over. Our tail is still rooting as our crown rises. We exhale. We extend over our knees here. We inhale, we pull back in towards ourselves. Arms up overhead. And then this time we'll exhale, we'll come down into prayer position here. Pick a focal point in front of you or close your eyes here. Think about why you showed up today and what your intentions are for yourself. My intention here is to bring wellness to myself and to you, so that we can bring wellness into our families and into the community. And thereby bringing wellness into this world. Well, it starts with the individual. So thank you for showing up for yourself today. This time we're gonna rise on our inhale. We'll come up, we'll exhale and come down into cat position here. Feel free to extend and just shake out that sitting for a moment. Find whatever breath is comfortable for you for the next few moments. When we place ourselves in cat here, it's important to have our support before we begin. So your hands want to be even with your elbow and your shoulder, or even slightly in front of your shoulder, between your shoulder and your head. You don't want to really have your shoulders be in front of your hands like so. You want to have your hands closer towards the front of your mat, in front of your shoulder here. You also want to make sure your knees are placed under your hips. You'll have a little bit of a shearing force if your knees are in front of your hips, which we're trying to avoid. So just make sure your knees are under your hips here. We'll feel the relationship between our hands to our tail here and our feet to our crown. And we're going to go ahead and exhale and curl our back up here. And we'll inhale. We'll open up our collarbone. We'll rise our crown up. We'll open our chest and exhale and come back into ourselves here. Curl, curve our back. Inhale, we'll come out wide. Open up our collarbone and chest here. And exhale, come in. Inhale, come out wide, open, receiving the world. We'll inhale, we'll come back in, we'll contemplate ourselves here. Continue with this cycle for 2 or 3 repetitions, inhaling as we extend out, open up wide. Exhale, we come back in, contain ourselves here. We inhale, we come out wide, we enter the world. Exhale, we come back into ourselves using pratyahara. I'll come back to neutral here, right in the middle of cat-cow. We're going to do that same cycle, but this time we're going to inhale as we curl in, and we're going to exhale as we come out. So we're going to inhale as we rise our spine up, and we'll exhale. We'll open up our collarbone, gently lift our head and crown up. We'll inhale, we'll curl in. Notice ourselves here. Exhale, we'll move out, up and open. Remember, our lungs really drive us. They drive all the rest of our organs, our vitality. We're going to inhale and exhale in neutral. We'll come back to neutral. Just hold on here for a moment. So with this posture, you can transition into downward dog. What we're going to do is we're going to feel the relation of our hands to our tail here and push into the mat. We'll rise our tail up as we press down into our feet. Our feet go all the way through our spine up to our crown. We come up into downward facing dog. We'll do 2 breaths here. Fully exhale. Inhale. 1 more. Exhale. Inhale. Now, you can hop or step to the front of your mat or lower your left knee and step forward with your right knee or your right foot. And then we'll extend our back leg and use that to push up and step forward here. Now we're going to come up into mountain posture. Into shodhana, mountain posture. From mountain posture, we're going to root ourselves here and find our center again. Pick up our toes, gently yield our legs with a little bit of a bend. Remembering that what's going to root here is the 2 toe balls on either side of your feet, your pinky toe and your big toe balls, and your heel is 3 points of contact with each foot. You can really root yourself by lifting your toes here and gently yielding. We'll do a couple Ardha Surya Namaskar, half sun salutations. We'll inhale, arms up overhead. We'll exhale, come out and over and down. It's more important to rest your chest against your thighs here than it is to keep your legs straight. So if you need to bend your legs a little, that's okay. We'll inhale halfway up into Ardha Uttasana, half forward bend. We're not going to strain our neck here, we'll just keep it neutral. Then we'll exhale down. And as we inhale, our feet root, our crown rises. We'll bring our hands up overhead on an inhale. We'll bring our hands together into pranayama. As we exhale, we come back to heart center. And that's one half sun salutation. We'll go ahead and we'll do two more. Exhale, arms come down. We inhale, arms come up overhead. Exhale down, hands touch the mat, chest is resting on our thighs, gentle yield in our knees. We'll inhale halfway up into Ardha Uttasana, half fold. Exhale down into Uttasana, full forward fold. We gently yield down as we rise up out of our crown, we rise up out of our feet. And we'll exhale, we'll bring our hands together into prayer position. One more time, okay? Go ahead and exhale down, arms come up overhead. Down together. Inhale, we'll come halfway up. Exhale down. We'll inhale all the way up overhead. We'll exhale with our hands together in prayer into pranayama. Just let that go for a second. If you want to stay in prayer, you can. Notice the energy start to build in your body now. I think we'll go ahead and do two full sun salutations. It's going to start off just like we did in the half sun salutation. And we'll go ahead and we'll root our feet, make sure we're ready to begin here. We'll rise up into Talasana with our inhale. We'll exhale, crown rises away from our tail, even on a fold. We'll inhale halfway up, Ardha Uttasana, and then we'll exhale down. And from here, we're going to plant our hands. We'll step our left foot back and lower our knee. And we'll come into a lunge. Inhale, arms up overhead. It's important to make sure we have an alignment between our knee to our shoulder here. Hips and feet are pretty even. And we're going to, on an exhale, place our hands down in front of us. And we'll come down into 8 limbs touching or pull right through into upward dog or cobra. Bhujangasana. From here, we'll push into our hands, into our feet, and we'll come up into downward facing dog again. Now we want to place our right knee down this time. We'll use our hands to get us up, and we'll bring our left foot forward. Inhale, arms come up overhead. And we'll come down. This time we're going to extend our back foot and use that to step forward to the top of our mat again. And we'll come to a half fold, Ardha Uttasana, on an inhale. And we'll exhale, Ardha Uttasana. And inhale, we'll come all the way up overhead. Exhale down. That's one full cycle of Surya Namaskar, the classic series. It incorporates almost every kind of twist, bend, and turn that you'll find in yoga. And it's a great posture you can do if you can only do one series of yoga a day. It's going to be one that's going to really wake up your organs and your mind together. So we'll go ahead and we'll do 2 more of those. Inhale, we'll come all the way up overhead. Savasana, and we exhale. Keep our feet rooted. Come down into Uttasana. We'll inhale halfway up. We'll exhale back down. And this time we're going to step our right foot back and place our knee down. And then we'll inhale and come up overhead. We'll exhale. We'll plant our hands behind us and we'll come down to either 8 limbs touching or pull right through to cobra on an inhale or upward dog if that's more comfortable. We'll exhale. We'll reach all the way back to our tail from our hands and from our feet to our head here. This is an inversion. It's a posture of trust being in downward dog. You're trusting yourself here. What we want to do now is we'll lower our left knee. We'll press our hands up and we'll bring our right leg forward here. We'll inhale, we'll bring ourselves up overhead. And we'll exhale. Plant our hands, extend our back leg here, and press forward and come out into Ardha Uttasana, half forward fold on an inhale. Then we'll exhale, come down into Uttasana. We'll inhale, we'll come up, arms overhead again. And we'll exhale, we'll come back down. So Surya Namaskar has to do with one of the fundamentals of yoga as well, support preceding action. So all of it's really key on where you place your feet, your knees, your hands. Are there any questions that you may have through those postures? Okay, so we'll go ahead and we'll come through it one more time. We'll inhale, we'll come up, arms overhead, rooting our feet as we fold over. Exhale. Inhale halfway up. Ardha Uttasana. Exhale down. And this time we're going to bring our left foot back, lower our left knee. Inhale, we'll come all the way up overhead. We'll exhale and we'll place our hands in front of us, extend our leg back, and we'll either pull forward into cobra or support ourselves up into upward facing dog on an inhale. We'll exhale and we'll press our hands firmly in as we shoot our tail up at the sky. Our crown is now facing towards the earth. Our feet are planted. We'll do 2 breaths here. If you need to come down into cat here, that's okay. And on our second exhale, we'll lower our right knee here this time. We'll step our left foot forward and we'll inhale, arms up overhead. Practicing our calm and mobile spine, getting our spine nice and flexible. We'll exhale, we'll place our hands in front of us, extend our back leg and press forward and come right into Ardha Uttasana on an inhale. Then we'll exhale down. Then we'll inhale, arms will come all the way up overhead. And we'll exhale back into Pranamasana, prayer position. Feel free to attend to yourself here, shake it out. Just come back to a normal, comfortable breathing here for a moment. We're going to go into fierce posture, where we'll do some twists and we'll get our organs to wake up even more here. One of the keys to longevity and vitality in life is a really flexible and healthy spine. So this next group of postures will be twisting and flexing along our spinal cord. So what we're going to do is we're going to start into Tadasana here. We'll still root our feet here. We'll regroup, recenter our mind here. We're going to still use that Ujjayi breath. We'll bring our hands into prayer. On an inhale, we're going to rise up as we sit. And you can either hold your hands above your head or come down into prayer position here. And what we're going to do is we're going to exhale and we're going to twist to our right any amount. If you want to just stay here in prayer, in Utkatasana, that's fine. Or you can twist over, gently rest your left elbow on your right knee, holding ourselves in space here. It can help to focus on a point in front of your vision. We'll do 2 or 3 breaths here. At any point, you can come back into Tadasana. On our next exhale, we'll come back to center. We'll inhale up overhead again and we'll rise. We'll exhale back into prayer. And that is one side twist. We're going to inhale as we lower and rise. And we'll either keep our hands above or into prayer. And on an exhale, this time we're going to go to our left. Any amount, or you can stay in your center. And if you have it in your practice to come down to your knee or stay in the center, either one, it's going to be important to really have your crown moving away from your tail here, even in a twist. That'll give you the length you need in your stomach. Any amount you can hold that for, keep it there. Otherwise, we'll come back to center. We'll inhale, we'll bring our arms up overhead. And then we'll exhale back into prayer position. So we're going to essentially do the same thing, but in a lunge. So if you want to follow along as I'm doing it, go ahead. If you want to see me do it and then participate, go ahead. Either one's fine. It's going to start off just like Utkatasana, where we inhale and arms come up overhead. But this time when we come down into prayer, we're going to step our left foot back and gently lower down here. We want to make sure our right foot is underneath our right knee for a nice support here. And we're going to inhale, come up into prayer, exhale, come down into prayer, and then we're going to twist. Any amount. If you want to just stay here, you can. If you want to just twist to the side, you can. If you want to twist to the side and lower, you can. This is the full position here. Focus your gaze in front of you. See if this can feel comfortable, feel energizing for you. Find that comfort. If it's aching or sore, chances are you're pushing yourself a little far here. So just come back a few steps if you need to. What we'll do here is we'll come back to center when we're ready. We'll go ahead and we'll place our hands in front of us here. We'll extend our back leg and step forward into Ardha Uttasana. And we'll inhale, arms up overhead again. And we'll exhale down into center. That is one lunging side twist. We'll go ahead and we'll do the other side. On an inhale, we'll rise as we sit. We'll extend our right foot back this time. We'll gently lower down. Our front left foot should be even with our knee here as we inhale up overhead. We'll exhale halfway down with our hands in prayer. If this is all you can go, then this is all you can go. Or if you'd like to flow further, we'll exhale and we'll twist to the side here. Whatever amount's comfortable for you. Some people are really tight across the shoulders or their lower back, so just a centered lunge here is fine, or a rising twist here in lunge is fine. Do a couple breaths here. All right, we're going to exhale and come back to center. We'll place our hands down in front of us. We'll extend our right foot this time behind us, and we'll step forward into Ardha Uttasana. We'll exhale down into Utkatasana. We'll inhale all the way up. And we'll exhale back into prayer position here. That feel okay for everyone? Okay. Really getting those organs awake and alive here now. We're going to work on a little bit of concentration and balance here. So sometimes for me, my right knee, I dislocated it a few years ago. So I still have a little bit of psychosomatic, don't stand on your right knee. So I like to set up by using a wall. So feel free to, if you need to. We'll do tree position here. What you want to do essentially is it's kind of 3 steps. You're going to get yourself into Tadasana like you're rooting your feet again. You're going to gently yield here as you plant your right foot, or whichever foot you're planting. This one will be our right. And then you'll rise any amount with your left foot. You can put it at your ankle. You can put it at your calf, not on your knee. That's the one no spot here. Or you can go above your knee to your thigh or groin. And so as you plant your right foot, if you need to reset at any time, just follow those steps. Root yourself, pick a spot, and rise up into it. Hands can be in prayer. Pick a focal spot in front of you. Hands can come to the side or above. There's a lot of different hand positions in tree. All of them bring different focal points and different ways of balancing. So find whatever comfortable for you. Nice, Jackie. We'll exhale and we'll come down at any point here. We'll go ahead and reset, and we'll come into our other side, our left side here, if that's where you're following. We'll root, get our tree roots strong in our legs, and then we'll rise with our right foot here. Any amount at our ankle, calf, above the knee at the thigh, or all the way up to the groin. We'll go ahead and we'll just pick a focal point. It's not uncommon to have one side be easier to balance than the other. Most people favor a left or right side, so that's why the balance usually favors one side. So by consciously doing balancing postures, you're trying to consciously bring balance into your physical body, which can really help your mind balance. It's okay if you come out of it, just reset. Tree pose is also a meditative posture. It can be a great posture for just clearing the mind and concentrating. When you feel like you've gotten what you need out of it, we're going to do dandayamana, which essentially is just goddess pose, which goddess pose is just planting your feet slightly farther apart than your shoulders. We're not going to do goddess squats today. I've never been a fan, but we will do the beginning stages of goddess, which is arms are wide. We'll bring our hands up overhead and then sweep your hands behind you here. You can either clasp them or put them in prayer position behind you like this, or clasp. And then we'll do like we were doing in Uttasana, where we do a forward fold, and we'll bring our arms up overhead here. Any amount. You can keep your arms on your back if that's more comfortable. You can just stay in a forward bend if that's more comfortable. Or you can, if it's in your practice, come down as much as you can here. Whatever your pratyahara or your inner sensing is telling you. Are you paying attention to your body? Are you bringing it to a comfortable space? It's a fine line between pushing yourself to where you're comfortable and pushing yourself beyond your limit. Right at that edge between the two is where your growth is. Are you pushing yourself just enough where you can support that push, but not pushing yourself so far over that you lose your balance here? Such is life. And then we can let that go. You can either bring your hands in front of you and place them on the mat, or you can come back to a standing goddess here. Okay. From here, we're going to come down into a seated posture, but we'll get there by coming into it through dolphin. So we'll do the beginning stages of Ardha Surya Namaskar, the half sun salutation, where we'll inhale, we'll exhale, and this time when we're down, we're going to place our hands in front of us and come into down dog, but we're also going to place our forearms. If it's more comfortable to stay in down dog, then do that. Or if you can come into forearms down with it, this is dolphin. And we'll just do 2 breaths here in dolphin. Really great for your shoulders, keeping your back wide here, breathing into your back. We'll exhale and we'll place our knees down. We'll come into a seated position. So from here, we are going to come into Bhujangasana or Cobra, but we can get there by coming into child posture, or you can go right into alligator, which if you didn't know what lying face down is called, it's called alligator, which is kind of fun. And you place your hands over each other and put your forehead on the back of your top hand here. This may be uncomfortable, so if you need to go right into Cobra, we can by pressing our hands, even with our shoulders here, into the mat. We'll inhale We'll rise up and focus forward, and we'll exhale down. We'll inhale, press into our hands, rise our head up. Feel our feet rooting here. We'll exhale down. We'll do one more. We'll press firmly into our hands. Rise our crown up here. Keep our shoulders wide. This is a concentration in breathing posture and a spine loosener. So right from here, we're going to go into Sphinx. So we're going to just press our hands forward into our forearms. In Sphinx, it's more important that your elbows be slightly in front of your shoulders. You don't want them to be behind. This creates unnecessary strain. So if your forearm and your elbows are slightly in front of your shoulder, towards the front of your mat here, you can either tense your fingers or you can press firmly into your hands here. And you want to make sure that your shoulders are wide. You're not straining too much forward or too back here. So find that inner sensing, that place of comfortableness here. If you press into your energy centers in your palms, these are bandhas, energy centers in your hands. Press into your palms all the way back to your tail here. Just press and feel that relation of your hands to your tail. We'll gently but firmly find the relation of our legs here and our feet, and we'll gently allow those to yield and press into the earth as we feel the relation of our feet all the way to our crown here. By keeping our shoulders wide and our hands firmly planted, we can gently lower our shoulder, or lower our head and neck here. Very rarely do our neck and head get a relaxing, resting posture, but we do carry so much tension in our shoulders and our neck. And this is a bottleneck for your nervous system. Right at your neck is where your spinal column transfers from your brain all the way out the back of your occiput, which is the plate at the back of your skull, down into your neck and into your spinal column in your body. So if you could imagine all of that information trying to travel through a really tense place in your neck, your whole rest of your body can respond awkwardly and inefficiently if there's a lot of neck tension. So we'll just release this here. If your forearms are getting tight, don't forget to tense your fingers here like so. And we'll just come back to that sensation of picturing our inhale coming through our navel. And this time when we exhale, we'll picture it coming up and out our soft palate. We'll inhale through our navel. Exhaling out and over our soft palate here. Can you notice your energy traveling when you pay attention to your breath like this? Part of meditation that can be done in postures is isolating and focusing on specific areas. Today we're focusing on the spinal column and how that attaches to your nerves, your vagus nerve. And through nadishodhana, your left and right halves, or your male and female halves. And really when they say male and female halves, they're intertwined through your whole body. It's hard to separate the left from the right when it's all on the inside. If they get along so well, you won't really notice the difference in the two. So from here, we're going to come back down into Gator. We'll place our hands on top of each other and put our forehead on top of our hands. And this time we'll either come to our left or right, whichever is more comfortable for you, and we'll slowly pivot and transition to where we're on our back here. We're going to do a few bridge postures here. If bridge is uncomfortable for you, if you have any lower back issues here, we can simply do wind relieving posture. So when we come up in a bridge, instead of bridge, you can just put your knees up against your chest and hold your hands in front of your knees, if this is more comfortable than bridge for you. If you'd like to do bridge, we'll bring our knees up to the sky and plant our feet together. And in bridge, it's not about trying to get as high in the sky as you can. It's actually about extending your length between your tailbone and your crown chakra. So we're going to create length up and down our torso. And as we press into our feet should be evenly spaced apart with our shoulders. Our feet should be under our knees here. We'll gently but firmly press into the mat with our feet and rise our hips up off the mat. And remember, it's more important to keep the length between your tailbone and your crown here than it is to thrust or force your hips up into the sky. This can be a concentration pose as well. So we'll just do a few breaths here, focusing on either the spot between our eyebrows or on a point in the ceiling. Hands can be up above your head, hands can be by your side, or hands can be crossed underneath you here, whichever of those three is the most comfortable. And then when you get what you need here, on your next exhale, we'll lower down. We'll do two more like that here. We'll firmly press our feet into the ground, keeping the length between our tail and our crown here. We'll rise our hips off the mat, pressing firmly into the ground with our feet, keeping the length between our head and tail. Two or three more breaths here, or if you need to, come back down. We'll exhale, we'll come down. Using our inner sensing, are we still able to keep our length in our torso here? Do we need to wiggle side to side? Maybe there's a spot in our muscles in our back that are pinched. We'll get ourselves nice and comfortable because support always precedes our action. We want to make sure we're comfortable before we move. If we practice this here, we'll be able to pivot and function with all of life's adaptations that are required from us. So we'll practice by firmly planting our feet into the ground and rising our hips off the mat here one more time, keeping ourselves focused on our length in our torso. And then we'll exhale, we'll come down. Keep our knees up though, like we're about to go into bridge. And this time we'll extend our right foot down out in front of us. Two options here. you can bring your left knee to your chest and put your hands in front of your knee here. Or you can bring your left knee up to your chest, and this time we'll lower the left knee over our right hip. So it's a twist. If you want to stay up here in half wind relieving posture, go ahead. But if you can twist and bring your left knee over your right, we'll go ahead. Arms are still wide here, shoulders are wide. This is just a lower back opening. Our spinal column is lengthening here, and our head is going to face opposite of our left knee. So if our left knee is over towards our right, gently peer with your head to your left shoulder, any amount that's comfortable, not forcing anything here. Stay as long as you desire here. We're going to come out of this posture and go into one more posture, and then we'll go into Shavasana. So what we're going to do here to come back in the center is we're going to, on an inhale, lift our knee and pivot and twist back into center. We'll bring our right knee up alongside our left here. Get ourselves realigned, wiggle or twist, and get your spine nice and straight and comfortable here. And then we'll exhale and let our left leg down and extend it. Now either come up with your right knee and hold it towards your chest for half wind relieving posture, or revolve your right knee over your left hip, and we'll come into a left side supine twist here. And our head goes opposite of our knee. And this is a full spinal twist from your tailbone all the way up to your crown. Interestingly enough, when I dislocated my right knee, after I recovered from that, I had a sciatic nerve injury in my lower right back. It was all related. So this posture is really great for working with spinal tension, spinal disc alignment, and keeping your spine flexible and healthy. We'll stay here another few moments. When you've gotten what you need from that posture, revolve yourself back towards center. Bring your left knee up to your right knee here evenly. Our feet are still planted. Arms can be by your side and extended above you, or by your side, or by your hips here. Any of those three are fine. What we are going to do for our last posture before Shavasana is legs up the wall, or Viparita Karani. Essentially, you're just going to lift your legs up here towards the sky. And if you just lift them up and keep them bent, that can be enough for you here. If you want to fully extend them up here, that's fine. If you want to keep them planted or come down into Shavasana and begin Shavasana early, that's completely up to you. Viparita Karani taps directly into your parasympathetic nervous system, which is your calming part of your nervous system. It's the more feminine tendency in your nervous system. It's the nurturing, cooling, relaxing part of your nervous system. If you're just in a bad mood and you can't shake it out of your head and you need to come into one posture to really reset your energy, this is the one. Do it on a bed, against a wall, with your feet up a wall so you can really relax. It can be a really great full body reset. It also sends the blood rushing from your legs into your torso, where your vagus nerve is. And your vagus nerve, in turn, tells all the rest of your organs to calm down and say, you're okay. You can relax now. If you need to come out of this, feel free. We'll come down and we'll begin Shavasana. It's nice we actually got to Shavasana where there's enough time to do a little bit of a meditation component. So I'll start you off here in Shavasana. If you have a blanket, use a blanket. If you want a block for underneath your legs, use a block. Get yourself comfortable here. And just let all of that breathing go. Shavasana is corpse position, and with nearly every part of Hinduism and yoga, it's all symbolic of something greater. And Shavasana, corpse position, is a prepared moment to be willing and able to let go. Very few times do we really sit and consciously allow ourselves to just let go in the moment. We're usually pretensing everything. How do I want to enter this situation? What about those groceries? How am I going to see my neighbor next week to go to a bowling league? Whatever these thoughts that occupy your mind, now is the time to just let it all go. Resolve yourself to be nothing at all here. If you can't stop your thoughts, focus your thoughts on your breath. There's no control over the breath, but we're just listening to the breath, allowing the breath to be hypnotic here and to take over our consciousness. Our breath has the power and capacity to dissolve our tensions. Our breath has the power to dissolve our fears. Our breath has the power to dissolve pain away, emotional or physical. Maybe there's parts of your body that are sore or tense. Time to let that go for a moment. Our physical body is the first layer of our koshas. Our physical body is made up of food. We come to this world as energy, but we ride around in a food body. Dissolve that away. Beyond our food body is our energy body, our prana. Prana comes not only from our breath, but also how the breath energizes our nervous system and our blood. Dissolve that away too. Beyond our body and our energy is our mind, always at work. The mind has two layers of consciousness, the consciousness and the subconsciousness. Really, they're two sides of the same coin. Those are koshas 3 and 4. Our body is made up of earth, our prana is made up of fluid, flowing water energy. Our mind and our subconscious are made up of air and fire. But what about the fifth? The fifth is the ether. It's the energy that extends out of our body and out into the universe. In this vast field of ether, we all really are connected in that same energy field. Our positives and negatives, how we interact each day, it all has a cumulative effect. It all starts with how we treat ourselves every day. If you can begin each day with a kind word or thought, or even intentions that you set for yourself, you'll find that it can carry you through your day with positive energy. If you set your intentions and reflect and tell yourself you're okay and your body can heal before you go to bed, your body will rest in a state of joy. Take this contemplation with you now if you want. If not, just rest in peace and silence here for about another minute. Om Bhuvasva Tat Savator Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dio Yona Prachodhyat. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Oh. Gently start to move your arms and limbs, or stay as long as you want in Shavasana here. If you're ready to come out of it, we can turn to one side at first. Slowly waking our limbs and arms back up here. Remembering that the best way to deal with uncertainty is to be certain with who you are and the peace and energy you bring to yourself every day. Hopefully you found this practice to be very centering, to be energizing, to be peaceful. When you're comfortable, we'll come back up to a seated position here. We'll root our tail one more time, and we'll rise our crown up out of our tail. We'll place our hands together at heart center. Prayer position is really a position of offering. Thank you for offering to yourself to be here today. We're going to exhale fully, inhale, and then come to Om one more time. So exhale, inhale. Om. Thank you for joining me here today. Feel free to move about at your own pace, and thank you for being a part of class today. Yeah. I'm glad to hear. Yeah, felt really great energy today. Yeah, it can be really interesting when you haven't for a while because your body's like, wow, what do I do with all of this now? So hopefully you carry that with you into your life and find a way to carry yourself in a positive way and carry that energy to your friends and family and community. So thank you for bringing that here with me today. If you'd like to be part of the emailing list, I can send you a link to today's class too for Zoom. So if I have yours, Jackie, but if I think I have yours too, Liz, I'm not sure. But if I don't, I'm going to leave a book at the front desk and you can leave your email there, okay? Yeah.
But they're koshas.
So perfect.
And
that's amazing.
the book that we have that goes with it is a little more complicated.
Oh, that's awesome.
I don't know, I just like
I've used the Russian doll analogy for people before for the koshas. That's really interesting that there's actually a tool for it. That's so cool.